Good day and welcome to the Lilly Roddy Show, coming to you from the LRS studios here in Houston, Texas. Thank you for joining me this week, and I hope everyone is enjoying the spring and the warmer temperatures. We're almost up to summertime temperatures here in Houston. It was almost up to 90 today. But the flowers are blooming and the honeysuckle and ligustrum are filling the air with wonderful smells. And I just can't wait for our gardenia to bloom. They are so fragrant. Excuse me. We do have two fairly long void moons this week, one on Monday during the daylight hours and one on Saturday about the same time. They're not real long, about 10 or 11 hours. If you would like to get in touch with me for a personal astrological session, you can always reach me at Lillyroddyshow at AOL.com, Lillyroddyshow.com, or find us on Twitter, Pinterest, and or Facebook. I will list those links at the end of the show. Now let's look at next week's forecast for Sunday, April 26th through May 2nd, 2015. Sunday, April the 26th. The moon transits Leo, the sign that rules the heart, for the entire day. The moon conjuncts Jupiter at 10:04 a.m. We feel very positive and upbeat this morning as we start our day. This is an enhanced time for any sort of marketing or advertising venture. All of us are focused on our ego today. Venus sextiles Uranus at 4:31 p.m. This combination of planets brings together one's personal interest in social consciousness. We're able to step outside of our normal, limited perspective and expand ourselves mentally to be able to relate to humanity on a global level. This will also activate the bohemian side of our nature and wants us to visit the circus sideshows. In general, people are more open and receptive to new ideas. This is an excellent time to get involved in any sort of community or business organization. The energy from this transit will be strong for the next 2 or 3 days. The moon trines Uranus at 7:06 p.m. This lunar connection only serves to complement the earlier planetary aspects. It's a good evening to step outside of familiar surroundings. We do need some entertainment or we're likely to be bored. The moon sextiles Venus at 7:22 p.m. This is a beneficial combination of energies for either personal or business use. We're able to relate to each other in a much more emotionally connected way this evening. It's a fun time for a date with that special someone, and relationships are favored this evening. The moon squares Mars at 10:34 p.m. Our emotions and our passions are expressed in the latter part of the evening. We could be feeling competitive, defensive, and even hot and bothered. What counts here is the play of the game, not the winning or losing. Create an ally and not an enemy. This same energy may also keep us from falling asleep easily this evening. Monday, April 27th. The day begins with the moon in Leo. She does become void, of course, in Leo at 9:12 a.m. and remains so until she enters no-nonsense Virgo at 8:07 p.m. The moon squares Mercury at 9:12 a.m. We do our best to multitask this morning, but we may just be doing a little too much and be feeling a little too scattered. Self-centered people will really bug you this morning. Step back, approach things from a different perspective, and therefore get more focused. The moon is now void, of course, in Leo at 9:12 a.m. and will remain so for 11 hours until she enters Virgo tonight at 8:07 p.m. Today, the moon is void throughout most of the productive hours of a typical workday. Plan your more important activities before or after the void, of course, moon. During the void moon in Leo, it's a time best used for listening to your inner child and remembering that all of this is just pretend. Find the love in your heart and embrace yourself with that. After 8:07 p.m., the moon enters Virgo, the sign of the practical analyzer. And now, back to our routines. Tuesday, April 28th, the moon occupies Virgo, the sign of the critical thinker, for the entire day. Our first aspect, the moon, squares Saturn at 3 a.m. This is one of the best aspects to sleep through. If you're awake, you're just grinding on about some mistake you made. Have some sleepy time tea and get back to bed. The moon trines the sun at 12:37 p.m. We experience a positive and upbeat afternoon. It's our desire to be connected emotionally and physically to the activities in which we're involved. This could be a wonderful time for a leisurely lunch. The moon opposes Neptune at 3 p.m. And after our leisurely lunch, time for a good nap. Our psychic receptors are turned up in the afternoon, and we will all need some downtime. Even if you only have time for a cup of tea, take it. It's a favorable time for a psychic reading or a past life regression. Wednesday, April 29th. The moon resides in meticulous Virgo for another day. It sounds like Virgo is going to be here forever, doesn't it? The moon trines Pluto at 3:38 a.m. This is an opportune time to process and eliminate emotional garbage via the dream state. After you've done that, put everything in its proper place. The moon squares Venus at 2:38 p.m. We're interested in generating or even regenerating connections with our friends or clients during the afternoon. This is a good time to touch base with lots of people, keeping your conversation short, but reconfirming the connection with them. You will want to help others during this time. The moon trines Mars at 3:21 p.m. Our energy remains strong and confident during the mid-afternoon. This is a perfect time to put your ideas out there. Self-confidence is the key. The sun sextiles Neptune at 6:11 p.m. Today we're much more concerned about our health on a physical, emotional, and spiritual level. Via this combination of planets, we're supposed to understand that we are more than just our physical experience. Our sense of compassion and humanity is also very stimulated during this time. You may want to help others or get involved in a cause that embraces your own sense of humanity. In the real world, it's just an enjoyable day to visit an art museum, listen to some live music, or just have a drink along the seawall in Galveston. That's what I'd like to be doing, enjoying the seawall. Thursday, April 30th. The moon begins the day in Virgo, but she does turn void of course at 7:23 a.m., and she quickly enters relationship-oriented Libra at 9:03 a.m., and is no longer void of course, just about 2 hours. The moon trines Mercury at 7:23 a.m. Our organizing and planning skills are working very well this morning. This is a great time for a class or even an early breakfast meeting. But you can't beat having coffee with your friends. The moon is now void of course until 9:03 when Luna enters Libra, the sign of the balancer. We will seek to keep everyone around us happy with the moon in Libra. The moon sextiles Saturn at 3:33 p.m. This is an ideal energy for working on any sort of project or task. We get things done and we feel a real sense of accomplishment. It's a good time for any sort of planned events. Mercury, planet of hands and lungs, enters Gemini at 9 p.m. for almost a 10-week stay. This prolonged stay is because Mercury will turn retrograde in Gemini in mid-May. Mercury is at home in the sign of Gemini, and she will want us to take a much closer and in-detail look at our day-to-day activities and habits. We desire to improve these areas of our life. That drive, this need to re-examine, will be felt even stronger during the Mercury retrograde time frame, May 15th through June 16th, 2015. Friday, May 1st. Today is May Day. The moon spends the entire day in Libra, the sign of the diplomat. The moon sextiles Jupiter at 11:59 a.m. The late morning and early afternoons are rewarding times for any type of activity, especially if it's concerned with social interaction, connecting with friends or clients, or giving or attending a presentation or a lecture. We just feel more connected. The moon squares Pluto at 4:08 p.m. As our late afternoon begins, we're ready to get away from our self-imposed routines and find some time for things that we want to do. If you have to be at work, this is a useful time to be cleaning out filing cabinets or the leftover emotions of your last relationship. You are likely to feel emotionally raw during this time. The moon opposes Uranus at 8:54 p.m. As the intensity continues through the evening, we really want to get away from anything that limits us. We may not know what we want to do, but we do know what we don't want to do. Keep your exit plan handy. Saturday, May 2nd. The day starts with the moon in Libra, but she does turn void of course in Libra at 9:03 a.m. and is no longer void of course when she enters powerful and passionate Scorpio at 8:47 p.m. Again, almost a 12-hour void moon. To begin with, the moon trines Venus at 9:03 a.m. We feel much more warm and cozy this morning, but we want things to go our way. You are looking for the path of least resistance this morning. Take your time and don't overtax yourself. The moon is now void of course in Libra at 9:03 a.m. and remains so until she enters Scorpio tonight at 8:47 p.m. With the moon in Libra being void of course throughout the majority of the day, it's a nice day to have someone to pal around with. Otherwise, you're very likely to feel lonely. As the moon enters Scorpio at 8:47, we feel much more emotionally connected, but somewhat guarded. Trust is a big issue this evening with the moon in Scorpio. Well, that is our presentation for this week. And you can tell that this week is a bit lighter than the one we've had in the past couple of months, and we could all use a break. I hope you find my forecast useful, and please join us next week as we look at May 3rd through the 9th, 2015. This is the Lilly Roddy Show, coming from the LRS studios here in Houston, Texas, reminding you to keep those stars in your eyes. Bye-bye.